Psyche Unveiled. Have you ever wished to possess the magnetic power that some individuals seem to naturally exercise over others? Have you ever wondered what psychological secrets lie behind the art of authentic seduction? If the answer is yes, this video will reveal techniques that could radically transform your social interactions. Don't forget to subscribe to the Psyche Unveiled channel and leave a like to support content that explores the depths of the human psyche. The power of validation. Disraeli's strategy. Benjamin Disraeli, considered one of the greatest seducers in history, teaches us a fundamental lesson. True seduction stems from the ability to make others feel special. In an era dominated by prejudice, this dark-skinned Jewish man managed to become Prime Minister of England and even win the heart of Queen Victoria. His secret? Disraeli possessed the art of elevating his interlocutor, making them feel brilliant and important. A woman of the time uttered enlightening words. After dining next to Gladstone, I thought he was the most brilliant man in England. After dining next to Disraeli, I thought I was the most brilliant woman in England. While Gladstone irritated with his superiority, Disraeli enchanted by making others feel like protagonists. Authentic seduction isn't about showing off, but the refined art of creating a stage where others can shine. The distance game, the art of strategic absence. One of the most common mistakes in relationships is constant presence. Paradoxically, excessive availability communicates insecurity and can feel suffocating. True seduction requires the courage of strategic absence. When you disappear for a few days, yes, it's a conscious manipulation. You activate deep psychological mechanisms. Absence generates respect, curiosity, and above all, fantasy. The human mind is irresistibly attracted to what isn't completely available. Calibrated emotional distance isn't a childish game, but a sophisticated psychological strategy that creates a space where desire can naturally grow. Those who master this technique understand that perceived value is directly proportional to one's rarity. The triangle principle. Becoming an object of desire. Imagine strolling through the streets of a metropolis and noticing two restaurants. One nearly empty with just one table occupied, the other teeming with people laughing and socializing. Which would you instinctively choose? Probably the second, even without knowing the quality of the food. This social value heuristic also powerfully applies to interpersonal relationships. A person surrounded by admirers automatically acquires an aura of desirability. It's not cynicism, it's evolutionary psychology. We're programmed to desire what others desire. Creating triangles means strategically showing that you're appreciated by third parties, thus generating an implicit competition that intensifies the perception of your value. Desirability isn't an intrinsic quality, but a social phenomenon constructed through triangular relationships. Radical empathy, the art of entering another's mind. I can't enter another person's thoughts, it's impossible, but I can tune into their moods and emotions. This understanding perhaps represents the deepest principle of psychological seduction. Human beings are extraordinarily receptive to others' emotional states. Those who master the art of seduction develop radical empathy, the ability to perceive emotional subtext, to capture nuances of nonverbal language, to tune into the inner universe of others. When we temporarily abandon our perspective to genuinely adopt that of another, incredible doors open to authentic connection. The inner world of the other becomes accessible, not to manipulate it, but to understand it deeply. Have you ever felt deeply understood by someone? How did it make you feel? Share your experience in the comments and tell us if you've ever met someone with this extraordinary empathic ability. Disarming openness. Errol Flynn's secret. Errol Flynn, legendary actor and seducer, possessed an almost magical power, the total absence of defensiveness. Studying his charm, a surprising truth emerges. It wasn't so much what he did, but his way of being completely open and non-judgmental. Women of the time recounted that, though initially intimidated by his presence, just 10 minutes in his company was enough to lose all inhibitions. It was like drinking 4 martinis, they said, referring to his ability to transmit a contagious sense of freedom and relaxation. This disarming openness represents one of the most sophisticated forms of seduction. The ability to create an emotional space where others feel free to be authentically themselves without fear of judgment. True seduction doesn't add tension but dissolves it. The physical dimension, beyond rational logic. Human beings aren't merely logical creatures. We are embodied beings, whose emotions are intrinsically linked to the bodily dimension. Authentic seduction recognizes this fundamental truth and operates on the level of physicality and energy. Our physical dimension instinctively responds to that of others. Moods, tensions, and openings are transmitted through nonverbal channels that often operate below the threshold of conscious awareness. Those who master the art of seduction develop a conscious physical presence capable of transmitting confidence, warmth, and openness. These aren't artificial techniques, but the authentic cultivation of an inner state that naturally communicates through body language. Gender difference, visual versus verbal. A refined understanding of seduction recognizes differences in prevalent perceptual modalities. Although every generalization requires caution, there exists a significant tendency. Men are more easily seduced through visual stimuli, while women respond more intensely to the verbal dimension. This distinction isn't absolute, but represents a valuable interpretive key. The great seducers of history were often great conversationalists, masters in using words to create shared emotional worlds. Recognizing these different sensitivities doesn't mean stereotyping, but refining one's ability to resonate with the prevalent perceptual modality of others, creating experiences that speak directly to their way of processing the world. Strategic authenticity, the paradox of seduction. The fundamental paradox of seduction lies in the tension between authenticity and strategy. The most effective techniques only work when they emanate from an authentic source, when they aren't merely applied as formulas, but integrated into a coherent way of being. Authentic seduction requires strategic awareness, but also genuine spontaneity. It requires emotional intelligence to understand the psychological principles at play, but also the ability to abandon oneself to the present moment without calculations. This apparent contradiction resolves in practice. The more seduction strategies become an integral part of one's personality, the less they will be perceived as manipulations, and the more they will manifest as natural expressions of a magnetic way of being. Towards ethical seduction. The psychological strategies of seduction we've explored can be powerful tools for human connection, but they also entail significant responsibility. True mastery doesn't lie in the ability to manipulate, but in the power to create authentic connections that enrich both parties. In my view, seduction in its highest form isn't the art of conquering others, but of creating a space where both can feel truly seen, understood, and valued. The techniques of Disraeli, Flynn, and other masters teach us not so much how to dominate, but how to facilitate a relational dance where both partners can express their authentic selves. If this journey through the psychological depths of seduction has intrigued you, I invite you to further explore these themes with us. Subscribe to the Psyche Unveiled channel to access content that continues to illuminate the most fascinating aspects of the human psyche. Leave a like if you found value in this exploration and share your reflections in the comments. Until our next journey into the depths of the human mind, this is Psyche Unveiled, bidding you farewell with a question. Which of these strategies resonates most with your personal experience?